Valamogolus, everybody. Hype Watch back again for another epic chapter breakdown. And damn it. This technical difficulties, I'm still having them. I'm not sure why the hell I'm still having these damn technical difficulties, but we're going to try to get this worked out real quick. OBS is fucking up right now. I know people in the chat are probably looking like, what in the hell is going on? I know it takes a couple of seconds before you guys see it on screen, but yeah. Yes, this shit is wild looking right now. Absolutely wild. But today we are going to be discussing the newest George R.R. Martin novella, The Sons of the Dragon, which chronicles the reigns of King Aenys the First Targaryen and King Maegor Targaryen, Maegor the First, Maegor the Only, actually, also known as Maegor the Cruel. And today I have with me two of my boys from the Hype Watch. We have Jerry the Targaryen Steamboat and Sir Lt Giles. Oh man.
I think possibly Maegor found out about it. We're going to be talking probably bad about him. Something to sabotage OBS.
It seems like it. Well, wait, hold on. Why am I not? And for some reason,
3 against 7. The 7 being the OBS.
Yeah, wait, hold on 1 second because I am not getting audio from you guys like I should. Yeah, this is just totally why is this doing this to me today? Today is just is not. Yeah, Skype is just like, hey, you know what? Screw you guys. Look at this. You guys are getting all like the back channel stuff. This is ridiculous. Oh my god. Alright. No, not even. People are gonna be looking at this like, yo, this shit is so. These guys are so unprofessional. It's not me, man. We've been trying to work on this for like the past 40 minutes trying to get this correct because this damn thing wasn't working. Alright, one of you guys talk, please. Say something.
Hello. Well, this is a bunch of crap.
There we go. Finally. Alright, so you guys should be able to hear them correctly now, but now it keeps on saying the damn speakers are muted and oh my god, Skype, what have you done to me, man? What have you done? Alright, we're gonna try to get this going the best way possible. Wait, and how the hell did I end up off the damn screen now? This is ridiculous.
I told you, Maegor's ghost is sabotaging everything.
Yeah, I guess, man. I guess this is just wild, absolutely wild.
No, it's probably Visenya. Be honest.
Somebody's doing it. Damn it. Somebody's doing it. Alright. I'm all off screen. You guys are, all off screen. This thing is saying mute. Yo, we are just we are just in a world of freaking Skype hurt right now.
What's the chat saying? Can they hear us?
Okay, can we? Alright. Shout out to Sam Eat Sam. Oh man. Shout out to Jerry and LT. Shout out to whoever else is in the building watching us right now. Alright, so let's get started with this. So what's funny? I don't know if it's because this book is so new or whatever, but there actually is not there's not a summary on Tower of the Hand or on Westeros.org, which I found a little trippy. Yeah, I found those to be a little trippy that there wasn't a summary on any one of those. But, you know, it's all good. We're going to make it do what it do. So, basically, look, this story chronicles the reign of Aenys Targaryen and Maegor Targaryen. These are the two sons of Aegon the Conqueror. And it's an interesting read because, like, a lot of it still takes place during the reign of Aegon. And it seems like Aenys' reign was super short. And then Maegor's reign, you know, maybe about half the reign of Aegon's, and then, you know, winds up falling off pretty tragically. You know, we get the description of Aenys as being this kind of sickly child when he's born, and also that he you know, he was super mama's boy. I mean, you know, there's mama's boy and then there's Aenys. Aenys took being a mama's boy to a whole new level. He did not want to be breastfed by anyone else. And, you know, after his mom died, even though he was 3 years old, he started crawling again. You know, as if he was like an infant. And, you know, he was always crying, which was kind of a crazy thing as well. So any thoughts on the early life of Aenys Targaryen before the birth of his brother Maegor?
I mean, I think this might be an example of you know, stories getting a little spread and made to exaggeration you know, after the fact. I'm sure Aenys was like, you know, he was probably a bit of a mama's boy, but I think probably a lot of these stories are, you know, exaggerated in order to create like such a juxtaposition between Aenys and Maegor. So just because that makes better storytelling for the Maesters, in my opinion.
I mean, it's possible. LT?
Yeah, I could see that, but you know, I mean, the child loved his mom, and you know, we don't know, you know, how. I mean, I was little when I lost my mom, but I could imagine how it could affect you when you're only 3 years old, you know, and you're so close to your mom. But who knows? The Maesters could have exaggerated it.
Yeah, because I mean, I think they might have exaggerated a lot of, you know, Aenys' whininess and probably a little bit of Maegor's childlike cruelty, even though we knew he grew up to be a very cruel person. It just creates a good juxtaposition, which would go out to be, you know, kind of a theme going here.
So, Jerry, are you saying the story where he killed the horse and cut off half the face of the stable boy was like a fabrication, or maybe not the whole story, or?
Yeah, like a fabric, like maybe, you know, he killed the horse and then he just, you know, cut him with a knife instead of, you know, half his face off or something like that.
Like he's just so pissed. Yeah, I got you.
Like kind of like Kiefer Sutherland in Stand By Me, where he's got the you know, just a blade next like to it, you know, just being a bully. Whereas, you know, that girl, you know, just cutting like his cheek, and that grows into, you know, cutting. I mean,
yeah. Can you think about it, like cutting half the face off? Like that would take some time. I mean, and Oh,
forgot to unmute myself for a second there. I mean, look, you know, it's one of those things where, you know, you have I mean, look, there's really no reason for them to kind of exaggerate what they don't like about Aenys versus what they don't like about Aegon, because, well, you know, this is...
I mean, they do if you look at it from a storytelling aspect. Like I said, it creates a better juxtaposition, which...
I mean, but
that creates a better story.
I mean, but what I'm saying is like, all right, Aegon, they didn't really paint in an unfavorable light during this story at all. right? I mean, they told you what he did and kind of who he was, but it wasn't the thing where they highlighted his faults. Whereas
but it also, he's not one of the diametric characters of these stories. Aenys and Maegor are.
I mean, yeah, but what I'm saying is, like, even if you're talking about those characters being diametrically opposed, you know, the only thing that they really highlighted about Aenys in terms of him being of any kind of worth was him having kids with his wife. And that was pretty much about it. It was like, all right, well, other than the fact that he was able to produce a bunch of sons and daughters for House Targaryen to you know, further the lineage, other than that, everything else about him, they pretty much painted him like, yo, this dude is soft, he's weak, he's ineffectual as being a ruler, you know, and there was nothing that they told about him in the story that gave you the sense it's like, all right, we know Maegor is Maegor the Cruel, but, you know, his brother was at least, you know, like, we wish we would have had him to be a king longer than Maegor, because, you know, Maegor just wasn't any kind of good, so not having Aenys around was a bad thing, or whatever may have you. It's kind of like, all right, we went from Aegon being the conqueror, bringing things under control, being pretty much a kind of a good king, to Aenys, which was a weak king, to Maegor, who was just, you know, like the worst possible.
You could call him weak, but until the whole incest thing, everybody pretty much obeyed and did what he said, and there was no trouble until the incest thing. And how long was Aenys' reign?
Well, I mean, how long was his reign? I'll look it up.
I know Maegor's was 6 years and like 50 days, but
no,
I can't remember.
6 years and 66 days.
Okay,
it was like 6 years and 66
6
days.
months, 66.
Yeah,
some days.
Some shit, like, it added up to 666, and I'm like, oh wow, really? You know, we're doing.
Remember, I mean, I might be skipping a little ahead, but when the warrior sons start rebellion and doing this stuff, Aenys is like, why? The small folk love me, you know. So everything was going pretty good in his reign until that whole
reign was 5 years, and he was. Let's be honest, he was soft. He was weak. When push came to shove, it's easy to be strong when there's no conflict going on. But when there was conflict, he was slow to act. The acts that he did were, you know, considered soft as self. He was playing, in a sports term, he was playing not to lose. He was your typical playing not to lose kind of guy.
I mean, I
think
I get it.
I think that's like where a lot of these kid stories come from, is because you look at what the reputation he got later in life. You take that rep and then you project it onto his childhood story. It's kind of like George Washington and the apple tree. You know, it's not a real story, but you look at the great first president and all like this stuff, and it's like great child stories about stuff like that. Maybe not to the extent of something like that, but you get what I mean. You know, it what do you call it? It kind of brings a bias into when looking at their earlier life, when you know how it ended. You know, it's like when someone does a heinous act, you go back and you look. All right, let's find out early in their life, where did things go wrong, and you kind of spin things like anything like they might have been doing before in a negative way.
When you look at Aenys, just picture Samuel Tarly before he became son of Sarah. If he inherited the throne, he'd probably be the same type of king. You know, because they all like the same thing, like dancing and astrology and all this stuff. So if Samuel Tarly,
so did Rhaegar.
Yeah, but Rhaegar was more of a warrior. He knew that he had to become a warrior, and Aenys probably didn't feel like he had to.
That's the thing. He didn't feel like he had to. Whereas, I mean, he's probably more like Rhaegar than he is Sam, in my opinion. But he didn't go and learn to fight like Rhaegar.
I mean, and I wonder, because it doesn't describe, like, who is his generals. I mean, I guess Maegor was his general, right? I mean, where was the King's Guard and all this? I guess, and then, like you said, he didn't want to send them to do what needed to be done. Because Visenya offered to go and burn the High Septum, and he put her in her chambers, and that was stupid, too.
Yeah, well, it's funny, like, because, when they talk about the sections, like, after Maegor is born or whatever, and it's like, Maegor, they already knew, they could tell he was, gonna kind of be a warrior from when he was a kid, right? So,
well, again, according to these stories, yes.
According to the stories, yeah, I'm still keeping it in the context according to the stories or whatever. So, Aenys was with Aegon while he was on his royal progress the whole time, and he was basically taught, martialship, if that's even a term, but he was taught how to fight from the King's Guard and from Aegon, and Maegor was taught by Garwin Corbray. And look, we already know about the Corbrays. The Corbrays are deadly with Lady Forlorn, so I don't know that Aenys ever had a chance even with the King's Guard at the time. Because basically, like you guys said, he was similar to Rhaegar or similar to a Sam, except he was. It's like, if you think about it, he was kind of like a Renly that liked girls.
Do you think that might have had the fact that he didn't really have much to do with the Kingsguard? Do you think that might have had to do with something Visenya, because she was the one who created the Kingsguard? It's not said how much she has involvement with the Kingsguard after she gets it created, but I mean, it's possible that she might have had more involvement of it, and like she didn't really she didn't put as much effort, or maybe she undermined it a little bit of it under Aenys, as opposed to how she was with Aegon and then later Maegor.
In terms of what specifically?
I don't know. I mean, not enough is mentioned. I'm just speculating.
Like she was whispering in their ears or something, or
yeah, like maybe the Kingsguard wasn't quite as established, because she was the one who established the Kingsguard.
Right.
Maybe when they switched over to Aenys, she was a little bit more involved with Aegon, Kingsguard, and then she kind of just, didn't do anything with the Aenys, so you didn't really see it quite as important, because it's still a new thing. Still a new thing. Right.
I mean, listen, I think for this whole thing with Aenys and Aegon, and the Kingsguard and all that stuff, yeah, she was probably a lot more involved with the formation of the original Kingsguard and just kind of overseeing their day-to-day stuff. But you also got to remember, though, too, Visenya and Aegon weren't close, and it definitely highlights that in the book, because it was like after Maegor was born, Aegon jumped back on the royal progress again, and went out with Aenys. Visenya stayed at the Aegon fort, and then when Aegon would come back to King's Landing, she and Maegor both would go to Dragonstone, which I was like, wow, that's like that seems a little messed up, because it really seemed as though like Aegon, when it came to Maegor, was kind of like an absentee father. Like he really didn't care about him. He's like, all right, well, you're not gonna be king, so
That's exactly my thing. Is he probably was closer with, or he probably loved Aenys more because it was his heir. So if Maegor would have been his heir, it would have been the opposite, and he'd been closer with Maegor. But since Aenys was his heir, that's the one he cared about the most.
Which is kind of messed up.
Should we bring up the elephant in the room about Aegon, and that is, was he barren, are these kids possibly not even his?
Yeah, you know what? And that was another thing too, because you know, it says that like, and this is like in the beginning of the book, where it's kind of like, well, yeah, Aenys was born kind of spindly, he was sickly, you know, and while Aegon was kind of very healthy man, his son wasn't, and it's also been stated that, you know, Rhaenyra might have been out there. She might have really been out there even before this book. There were rumors that Rhaenys had been cheating on Aegon while he was away doing whatever, you know. So
her playthings, right? I think it called her playthings and something
right.
like that.
So yeah, which brings up the question, you know, is House Targaryen, were they ever a legitimate line to begin with? And
I'm in the thoughts that it's not.
But then here's another thing too. So look, when you look at Visenya, right, now every depiction of Visenya that we have, like, Visenya is not depicted as being unattractive at all. It's like Rhaenys is depicted as like super attractive, but Visenya is not depicted as being unattractive at all. But, you know, we already know from the stories, according to the histories or whatever, that Aegon spent, you know, for every one night he spent with Visenya, he spent 10 with Rhaenys.
Which would give Visenya a lot of freedom to maybe find another.
I mean, it would, but she really seemed dedicated on a more dutiful level. Like, it's almost like their relationship was like a Stannis and Selyse kind of thing, where it's like, yeah, you know, Selyse probably would have every right to go and seek comfort somewhere else, because Stannis obviously doesn't love his wife. He's only, you know, he sleeps with her like once a year out of duty or something like that. So,
it also could be a Cersei Robert kind of thing later in their life.
I mean, yeah, but remember, Cersei and Robert, there was never any love there to begin with. And while Robert actually, you know, they did sleep with each other for a little while. It's like once Cersei figured out that Robert really wasn't once Cersei figured out that Robert wasn't committed to the relationship from the beginning, it was like, all right, well, you know, fine, cool. You know, I'm gonna do me, I'm gonna let him do him. And it was kind of like, as long as she didn't get pregnant, or no, not even as long as she didn't get pregnant, as long as nobody really kind of questioned the legitimacy of the kids, then it really didn't matter, you know. And I see Winter Design left a comment.
Yeah, I wanted to bring that up because I mean, I have it's an easy, that I don't think that's a really good point. It's a good question, but it's not a good point, because we know that both the kids came out of you know, Targaryen mothers, so naturally, just by that fact alone, they're going to be able to do dragon riders. You don't need to be a full Targaryen on both sides to be doing dragon, as we saw from Princess and the Queen.
Right. Yeah, Nettles didn't have no Targaryen blood, and
not even Nettles, but I mean, I'll bring up what's her name, Rhaenyra. Her first kids were probably bastards because they were all.
Oh yeah, from the Strongs.
Mm-hmm. Yet they still could do dragons.
Well, my opinion is it's up to the reader, because I guarantee you that if this is a case that can't have kids, George will never reveal that. So it's up to the reader. It's up for you to decide.
100% right, LT.
Right, and I mean, honestly speaking, you know, well, here's the thing, right? So we have to look at how strong Targaryen features are when they've married into other households or mated with other households to see whether or not it's more than likely that these kids were
Oh,
Aegons or not.
I got an answer
I
for
mean,
you
it's kind
because
of like a coin. It's probably like a coin.
is
I
it
mean, sometimes.
didn't most of Aegon's kids in the Greens, didn't a lot of them came out brown haired instead of the silvery hair?
Right, that's because of who he was married to.
Yeah.
So and then you got to also think, you think about guys like Aegor Rivers, you know, who else? Who else? Baelor
Well, I think
Breakspear.
the best one is what's his name? The first married the first Martell. Darren with Darren. Darren the wife. Darren, not Darren the wife. Darren the what was his name? The one that's Maegor's dad. Aegon the fourth son.
Shit.
Is it Darren?
I forget exact. Oh, Aegon the Fourth. Yeah. Darren. Yeah, it was Darren the Good. Darren the Good.
So, yeah, Darren the Good. That's it. And so he married a Martell. I think what is it like? 3 out of 5 of his kids look like Targaryens, whereas like a couple of them, like Baelor Breakspear, look.
Yeah, that's
Martell.
what I was saying. Baelor Breakspear looked like a Martell, and I think one of the girls looked like Martell.
Yeah, and then the rest look Targaryen. Like Maegor looked completely Targaryen.
Yeah.
So I don't think we can really come to a conclusion based on how these kids look.
Do some of the Targaryens, I can't remember, that have like brown hair, would they have the purple eyes and the brown hair?
Sometimes.
Yeah,
I mean, it just depends.
Yeah, because
that probably look cool.
Yeah, because I don't know if Baelor actually had brown eyes or purple eyes.
This might be off the topic, but does Darkstar have purple eyes, or he just has silver in his black hair?
I think he also has purple. Yeah, he has like dark purple eyes.
Okay, yeah, I just think purple eyes are cool.
Mm.
All right, but let's move on. We're kind of getting stuck on this whole topic real quick. Let's talk about Maegor, young Maegor, who apparently, according to Archmaester Gildane, butchered a cat at 3 years old when he got his first little sword or whatever, which obviously very reminiscent of Joffrey. And if you think about it, like with the personality that they kind of painted him with, it was like a little bit Joffrey, a little bit Robert, a little bit Stannis. Because it's like, yeah, he's mad like Joffrey. He wants, loyalty and feels he deserves the loyalty like Stannis. But he wants the glory of battle like Robert. Yeah. Any disagreement with me on that one?
I mean, we definitely know that's him later in life, for sure. And then that's what became.
I'm surprised there's nobody there. I mean, I guess Aegon's not there, but I'm surprised there's nobody there to slap him across the face like Robert did Joffrey after he killed the cat. Maybe he needed that.
I don't know. It's kind of.
I mean, the story might not even be true. Like I said, I was mentioning earlier. So that might be. If it's not true, that would explain no punishment.
Right. So all right. So let's talk about the death of Aegon and the ascension of Aenys the First. So this was one of those things where after Aegon died, it was kind of like, all right, the realm should be secure, but you're only talking about one generation in with this particular arrangement of 7 kingdoms. And so with Aegon being the warrior and people knowing that Aegon was the warrior and not Aenys, it seemed like rebellions popped up almost as quickly as possible, and it kind of stemmed back a little bit to his children, but also, his relationship to his brother and a marriage that almost happened but never did. So let's go into Aenys' marriage real quick. So he was married to
Alyssa Valerion?
Yeah, he was married to Alyssa Valerion, and he had 5 kids. So first one was Rhaena. Second one was Aegon. Hold on, what the hell was the third one? Where the hell was the third one? Because it's crazy, because he kept on popping out kids.
And each kid pushed Maegor from the line of succession.
Yeah,
it's kind of like...
he had Viserys, he had Jaehaerys, then he had Alicent and Vela.
And Vela, yeah.
Do you guys think that that Maegor probably walked up to or no. So Aenys asked Maegor, "Where were you during the whatever of his firstborn?" He goes, "I was first in line to the little hairball." Like Scar on Lion King.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Oh man. All right, so at this point it wasn't fully established as to whether or not the kingdom had to have a male or female heir. So it was kind of thought like, all right, once the kids came, Maegor gets pushed further down the line of succession.
Well, hold on that. I thought Aegon accepted Andal Customs, because Andal Customs did already have established that it would be the male. But I could be wrong on that.
It wasn't fully. It wasn't fully the Andal Customs. It was just the fate. He honored the faith of the Seven after he took on all the Andal Customs. Because remember, he originally was hoping to have a daughter so he could marry Aenys or Maegor to one of his daughters, and it just so happened that you had Alyssa Valerion who was a cousin of his, and that's why he allowed that marriage to go through.
And the Valerians have the Targaryen features,
right? And plus, also, it said that his mother was a Valerion, that Aegon's mother was a Valerion, and that's why he was so keen for the marriage.
Valerians are another house from Valeria.
Yeah. So that's why Aegon actually allowed that to go down. So
which makes me wonder why they didn't. Well, they did do it a lot, but I'll ask the question in a little bit.
All right. So later on, we actually, when they're looking for a wife for Maegor, Aegon no, not even Aegon, sorry, but Visenya initially proposes to betroth Maegor to Rhaena. And because Aegon did not want to piss off the Faith of the Seven and the Hightowers especially, because at this time it seemed like the Hightowers were fully in control of the they were fully in control of the faith, because you're talking about this before there was a Great Sept. So anytime you wanted to make any kind of petitions to like the greatest faith building in the Seven Kingdoms, it was in Old Town. The High Septon at the time was a high tower, and the High Towers definitely had a lot of influence when it came to matters like religious matters. So they, formally protested and said, hey, if you betroth Rhaena to Maegor, we will not accept that as legitimate. And basically it was like, yeah, we will try to rebel against you if you make that. a thing, and so Maegor wound up actually having to marry a Hightower, which was
it started with an A, didn't it?
yeah, I mean a lot. You know what is funny?
Oh no, Charisse, right? Charisse.
Charisse? Was it?
Yeah,
Yes,
was it
Charisse. Yeah,
Charisse.
yeah, Charisse Hightower. Sorry, a lot of the names start with A's, so.
His next wife starts with an A.
Right.
Yeah.
So so yeah, they make him marry Charisse Hightower. She's 10 years older than him. She's 23 at the time. He's 13. And you know, he's said to be a lusty husband. You know, I think supposedly he consummated his marriage 3 times.
No, more than that. It was like 8.
I thought it was like 30 times.
Yeah. No, I thought it was 3 times the first night.
He bragged. No, he bragged and said he consummated the marriage, I believe, 8 times the first night.
Okay, I mean it could be. I thought it.
And that might be another. That might be another exaggeration that Jerry's made. You know, how Jerry's saying the Maesters are exaggerating. It might be an.
I don't know. A teenager could refill pretty quick. Yeah. So
I mean,
I can only imagine being 13, getting a 23-year-old woman. That would be awesome.
You gotta imagine they wouldn't be very long either. So you refill quick. You don't last long.
Yeah.
8 times is pretty. It's pretty modest, actually.
Hey man, it almost brings you back to in the show when Tommen was like, "I want to do this all day," and then Marjorie's like, you know,
who couldn't do it all day with Natalie Dormer? Getting off topic.
Yeah, listen, man, we're not trying to get no complaints, bro. Nah,
the video's been demonetized.
Oh man, yeah, you know, before it even starts, who knows, right? All right, so so yeah, after the death of Aegon, when you have Aenys as the king, you know, one of the first things he does, he makes Maegor his hand of the king and gives him Blackfire. And scheming ass Visenya automatically starts talking smack about her nephew, like, yo, you know, Aenys know he shouldn't be the king. He gave my son the sword Blackfire because he knows only a warrior should be wielding that. And so this means at the time then, Maegor actually had 2 Valyrian steel swords. He had both of the Targaryen swords at the time because his mother...
Oh, go ahead.
His mother gave him Dark Sister as a wedding gift. Right. Yeah, his mother gave him Dark Sister as a wedding gift, and then his brother gave him Blackfire.
Yeah.
So,
You're right.
So that was pretty interesting, and then, you know, you get all these...
Should have dual wielded him.
Yeah, he could have been like the like Arthur Dane in the show.
They need to come up with a mod on Skyrim to where you can use Maegor with both of those swords.
Oh man, but no, that was pretty interesting because that was something I just thought about too. I was listening to the beginning of the book again today, and I was like, oh wait, he had 2 Valyrian steel swords at the time then.
But I guarantee you, he probably put Dark Sister aside and wielded Blackfire.
I mean, yeah, Blackfire, I'm pretty sure.
Blackfire is probably the more superior, or definitely the more superior blade than Dark Sister.
I mean,
I don't know if it's the more superior blade. I think it's just the bigger blade.
Sword of the Conqueror.
Well, yeah, you got to remember, you know, Blackfire was Aegon's sword, and Dark Sister was Visenya's sword. So Dark Sister probably was one. It was a lighter sword, probably would have been a lighter sword, and 2 may have been a shorter sword than Blackfire.
Yeah, probably was.
Yeah, you know, like I could see it being more of a gladius, whereas Blackfire would have been like your regular, normal, like long sword.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but Yeah, I hadn't even thought about that until I re-listened to the beginning today, and shout out to the whoever the dude is that does the narration. He is absolutely hilarious when it comes to some of this shit, man. The
Oh,
voices that he used, none is better than Roy Dotrice, but yeah, this guy who does the narration for Sons of the Dragon is he's pretty up there when it comes to just hilarious voices.
What about the guy who does Dunkin' Egg and you? Yes, sir.
Oh, listen, we're not even going to talk about that one, man. All right, so basically, though, you know, things are pretty cool in the realm until Aenys decides that he is going to have Rhaena and hold on, who's his first son? Sorry, trying to get back to the first sons. I'm up there reading out this book. Aegon?
Yeah.
Was it Aegon?
Aegon is Aenys' first son. Yeah.
So yeah, once he talks about he's going to betroth those two, pretty much this is where he starts running into big problems.
Which makes me wonder: were there no Valerions that he could have?
Well, no, like it's not that he. I don't think that there weren't any Valerions. I just think it was a thing where, you know, the tradition had been brother to sister. So he's like, all right, well, you know, fuck it then, you know, brother to sister. And I think it's because the High Septon didn't speak out against, since the High Septon didn't speak out against his father and mother and aunt, that he was like, oh, okay, this must be good. So he must really not have, he must not have been fully aware of the petition against Rhaena being betrothed to Maegor at the time. Either that, or he was thinking, no, it'd be cool with it. You know, it was a problem, you know, a few years ago, but no, you know, it's been like 10 years now, a little more. It shouldn't be an issue anymore. So I think that might have been the deal where, you know, he's just not being as astute to the politics as some of the other people around him. So, I don't know. Thoughts?
My thoughts is that yeah, it's another thing of why Aenys wasn't aggressive or strong. He should have just he should have just made the High Septon and the Faith bend the knee like Aegon did, but he didn't have it in him.
No, he definitely did not have it in him. You know, again.
I mean, but then again, Aegon didn't really bend the knee or make them bend the knee too much. He kind of said, "Oh, I accept the faith." He married his children. I mean, he didn't really have any other choice, but he married them not ancestral, so there's really no need to butt heads for them.
Right. I mean, but it was more of a thing where, it was kind of a thing. Is like, all right, as long as you guys don't come burning Old Town down, you know, then we're cool. We can make everybody, because it was really more of a thing of we'll make everyone else fall in line. Just don't come and burn us down. And
it's kind of like they both sides wanted peace,
right?
Really.
And at the end of the day, I think when it came to Aenys, you know, look again. I think it was like they knew that he wasn't Aegon. He wasn't going to go and burn shit down. So it was like, yo, we could kind of talk to him however we feel a little bit.
Well, people always think that. I mean, look at freaking what's his name, Balon Greyjoy, and then that was Robert. He was like, oh well, new ruler, now I can rebel. You know,
right?
People always get these ideas when there's change,
right? And so pretty much, you know, when it comes to this now, Aenys super ineffectual. I don't understand, you know, what his deal was and why he thought that it wouldn't be a problem for him to do this betrothal, but it was. Oh, but we have to talk about another kind of watershed moment in the story too, and that is the claiming of Balerion the Black Dread, because you had Aenys who had Quicksilver for his dragon, and Aenys loved being on the dragon back, even though he had horses, this, that, and the third, but he loved being on his dragon. And at first, Maegor did not take a dragon. He would not take a dragon. It's like, get the dragon eggs away from me. Don't want them. And in fact, you had Aenys' wife who made fun of Maegor for this. But after Aegon died, there wasn't any fun to be made, because Maegor was like, yeah, I have the dragon that I'm supposed to have. And so, when the rebellions popped up, at first, Aenys didn't want to do anything about it. And then here comes Maegor and Visenya. Like, no. We are not going to be having you guys with all this rabble-rousing. I'm here with my father's dragon. I'm here with my father's sword. And yeah, I'm not king in name, but damn it, you know who runs this already. So, go back to what you were doing and don't make me have to kill somebody.
I mean, it was really a gambit that paid off. So
yeah, and
paid off big for me. Because I mean, if Aegon doesn't die when he does, it's possible Maegor goes most of his life without a dragon, and things are a whole lot different if he.
House Targaryen could possibly fall, like you said, if he doesn't get a dragon. Like you said, if Aegon would have stayed alive a little longer, and you said Maegor would have never claimed a dragon, yeah, House Targaryen could have possibly fallen.
I mean, yeah, it is very possible,
Like, imagine if he would have lasted 20 more years, and Aenys would have grown to age. He would have been in his, I guess, 50s, 40s. Aegon would have been in his late 20s. He would probably had more kids that would. So I mean, he really would have been further down the line. So it would have been much harder for him to usurp at that point.
Right.
And he would have not had as much political clout because he would have had no dragon.
Right.
So it really was a gambit that paid off for him.
I would have wanted to see, like, I hate how it's off book, how Maegor claims Balerion. I just think if they do a series, that's going to be a cool part to see how he claims Balerion, because that's the greatest dragon ever at this point,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I mean, it's the greatest dragon to ever have lived, as far as from what we know.
Yeah, I mean, apparently even a full-grown Drogon is small compared to Balerion the Black Dragon.
Yeah. I don't even think Drogon's gotten to Vhagar levels.
Right. Man, shout out to Jay Cruz, who just came in.
Shout out to you, buddy.
Let's see. All right, so let's look at some of the rebels that we got in this story here. We got Harren the Red, claiming to be a grandson of Harren the Black. We already know how Harren the Black wound up dying.
Do you guys think he was the grandson of Harren the Black, or do you guys think he's a pretender?
Probably a pretender.
Yeah, probably.
Let's see here. You have rebels from the Vale, the Vulture King, from the Dorne.
Yeah, and you want to talk about not knowing your history. They went in there, they thought they were bad shit, and then, like, freaking Maegor does the same thing his mom does. It just flies up on top, and he's like, "Can't defend against flight, bitches."
So that was Jonas Arryn who actually took over the Vale from his brother and threw his brother out the moon door. Let's see here. Well, it's funny because first he imprisoned his brother, who was Ronald Arryn, who was at the start before Aegon's conquest. he would have been king, but Visenya came down on her dragon and was like, "Yo, am I gonna have to kill this kid?" To his mom. She was like, "All right,
Wayne Brady gonna have to choke a bitch."
So he became Lord Ronald Arryn. His younger brother Jonas imprisoned him, and then when Aenys sent envoys to be like, "Hell, nah, you gotta let him go and give him back," he was like, "Oh, you want him back? Okay, you can have him back," and shoved him out the moon door. So that was a pretty interesting thing there. Let's see here. Who else?
Why do you guys think Harren the Red abandoned Harrenhal and went to the woods after he took it?
Because I
he probably didn't want to get burned in there like Harren the Black.
Yeah, I think he knew that it couldn't be defended against dragons.
He did his history. This guy, unlike the Vulture, he did his history.
Yeah, because and then he cut that Lord's manhood off, man.
Yeah, so I mean it's funny because Aenys was the king, but the guy who brought peace back to the realms was pretty much Maegor. Maegor hopped on Balerion. Him and his mother Visenya pretty much went around the realms and quelled all the damn rebellion. So, and it was just funny, like like listening to or reading the story. Aenys is kind of like, I don't understand what the problem is, man. Like, dude, can't we just send some letters and talk it out, man? I can invite him to a feast. We can sit down. We can kind of air out our grievances. Like why are they rebelling? I'm such a good guy, man. People like me. I sing. I'm into astrology. I know some alchemy. Maybe I can make them some good mixed drinks or something. And just not understanding the politics of the whole situation. Almost brought his family to ruin. He almost lost the empire that his father just finished building.
Mm-mm.
He's just like Tommen, like like how Joffrey, if Tommen, like with the faith,
Mm-hmm. Oh man, and so another thing that's kind of crazy about some of this stuff is like some of the names that we have. Like for example, you have Savage Samwell Tarly.
Oh my god! I mean, can this be any more fan service? Can this be any more? Well, it can't. Actually, it can be. You can go watch The Last Jedi, but we'll get off topic there.
But you said George doesn't do fan service, Jerry.
He usually doesn't.
Well, here's the thing, though. Here's the thing, though. Samwell Tarly is actually still mentioned here in the World of Ice and Fire. So it's not like it just came up.
Yeah, but the Savage Sam, like Slayer Sam. I mean, come on.
No. He's called Savage Samwell Tarly here.
I know he is, but I'm saying to give him a nickname like that is
I absolutely love it. I think it's awesome.
I mean, it's a bit silly in my opinion. I didn't expect George to go there.
Another one, we also have King Lodos, who was a rebel from the Iron Islands, claimed to be son of the Drowned God. And this was hilarious because after he knew that, he was not going to wind up winning the Iron Islands or keeping the Iron Islands around, he decided to tie rocks around his feet and walk into the sea and say, hey, I am going to seek counsel with my father. Like you don't get any more ridiculous than that. He's like, yeah, okay, I'm about to catch a bad one, so yeah, I guess I'm dead. He wound up killing himself, and then like I think they said 1,000 people followed him. So yeah, you also have that going on. Man, I'm the only one on camera right now. This is crazy. Oh well, you can't win them all. But anyway, so oh man. Oh, another name that we have here, because there are a lot of repeat names, and that is Davos Baratheon, who is the grandson of Orys. Grandson of Orys Baratheon. And the thing I'm wondering is, like, okay, well, who was Davos' father? Because it doesn't even talk about who Davos' father was.
Guess it wasn't important.
I guess not. That just seemed a little weird to me.
I got a question for you guys. Do you think there was some kind of respect or love Maegor had for Aenys? Because you think about it, right? Why didn't he just usurp the throne from Aenys? Why did he wait till Aenys died? You know what I'm saying? Was there some kind of sibling love there? Is why he never usurped the throne from his brother?
I don't know if it was sibling love so much as it was like, look, I think Maegor respected his place as, as Aegon's second son, and that he wasn't the king. But I think it would have wanted being. I think it could have been a thing where, maybe he was advised against it because you might have open rebellion against him if he did that.
Yeah.
And I think that was the thing that they didn't want, is for there to be open rebellion against him for doing that. So
I guess the realm didn't love Aenys' son because, as soon as he dies, they don't want to open rebel. They just want to accept it,
I mean, look, I think because of the way that when Aenys died, and we're going to talk about Aenys' death, because Aenys' death was, he went out like a straight chump. Like there's no way else you can describe it. He went out like a punk.
Did he go out like a chump, or was he murdered like a chump?
Either way, man, look, the dude was weak his whole life. He was weak his whole life. So, we can't even, there's not even anything to say about that. Yeah. Man, oh man. So, shit, where the hell did I leave off at? Oh, you know what? I wanted to talk about the Vulture King real quick, and the whole thing with the daughters, because he had Orys Baratheon, Orys Baratheon had one of his hands chopped off. Trying to remember, who was that by again?
It was the Vulture King's father, or no, right? It wasn't the Vulture King's father because he took his hand as revenge of
right. Okay, so yeah. So so as recompense, he took both of his hands and feet. Like he was like, yeah, I'm taking both your hands and feet as interest. And apparently he smiled as he was dying. He died on the way back to King's Landing. Now here's the thing though, right? So if Orys Baratheon at this time, Davos was his grandson, right? If I'm not mistaken, Davos was his grandson. Or was he his son? I don't know. But was Orys older than Aegon? Possibly?
No, I don't think he was older. I thought they were pretty close in age. So,
nah, because I'm like, if this was supposed to be his, if Davos was his grandson, I don't know. Like, Jerry, do you have your book on you? Because I don't have my book, and if I try to go and look it up on here, it's gonna.
Davos was his son.
Davos was Orys' son.
Yeah, he wasn't his firstborn son, but he was his son.
Okay, that's what it was. All right, because I was like, wait, well, there was somebody who was the Lord Baratheon, and Davos was the Lord Baratheon even after his after Orys died. Okay, so he was the second son. All right.
Yeah. There was another son that had. We don't know their name, but they're the one that gave birth to Robar Baratheon.
Okay, that's what it was. I'm sitting up there like, man, something seemed a little weird about that. Now, obviously,
Or Roger, or sometimes it's called Rog. What's his other name?
It's either Rogar or Rogar, and it's funny because on the Westeros.org entry, like basically the only thing that Westeros.org lists is like the inconsistencies between the book that came out and supposedly was going to be the final version of Fire and Blood. Because apparently, from what Westeros.org is saying, what's in the Book of Swords is an earlier draft of Fire and Blood. So what's in the story, there might be details that still wind up changing by the time we actually get the full book of Fire and Blood.
I imagine the Fire and Blood book is going to have a huge section on Jaehaerys because 55-year reign, shit.
Yeah,
but it's also supposed to be a really peaceful reign too, so might not be some might not be too many interesting things.
Correct. Man. But here we go another again with another parallel name because we got Davos Baratheon, and in the current story we have Davos Seaworth, who was sworn to House Baratheon.
Doesn't he have something to do with onions? I forget. Someone has something. I thought someone has something to do with onions in this story. I can't remember.
I honestly do not remember.
I thought I can't remember right now off my head. LT?
Yeah, my mind's going blank. I can't remember who had to do onions either.
Okay, well, maybe never mind.
Chat, help us out here, chat. If you know who's to do onions, let us know.
All right, so after all of this, there was still beef between the High Septon or the Faith of the Seven and the Targaryens because Aenys, tried to go forth with the betrothal, and they weren't really trying to hear that. And in fact, you had a Septon who was expelled from the Faith for actually performing the marriage ceremony of Rhaena and Aegon. And when they went on their royal progress, just to meet the people of Westeros, they wound up, having people booing them, people calling them abominations and all other kinds of stuff like that. So that was
boo! Boo!
Yeah, it was pretty interesting that she had that happen to him. Man, hold on, let's see here. You know what? You guys discuss that real quick. I'm gonna find the book because World of Ice and Fire does not have enough details.
What are you looking for?
I mean, more details into Aenys' reign right before he died.
Oh, I got the book right here. So let me look.
That's what I was asking you about before, man.
Yeah, but I had the answer then. Maegor.
Now, is it me though, or even as these are supposed to be written by different maesters or whatever. Like Archmaester Gildane, to me, still like the writing still seemed the same as
This is still Gildane, I
No, I'm
believe.
talking about the World of Ice and Fire, because the World of Ice and Fire was written by
Two Maesters, right?
huh?
Mm-hmm.
No, it was
World of Ice and Fire.
No, it has two Maesters in it.
no, the World
Yeah.
of Ice and Fire was written by one Maester, but the Cliff Notes are by Archmaester Gildane. Where he took
Oh wait, no, this isn't Gildane. Then this is this is Gildane.
right. Hold on. Let me see which Maester is this supposed to be again.
I believe this is Gildane.
It doesn't actually say though, does it?
What, in the World of Ice and Fire?
No, in this one it doesn't say which Maester.
Yeah, it says by Archmaester Gildane.
Okay. Well, I know in the World of Ice and Fire there's Gildane, and who's the other one?
Hold on, that's what I'm looking for. Is the other Maester that
Oh, okay.
wrote the World of Ice and Fire? Because that Maester is pretty much basically
Elio, right?
Yeah, I would say, or the child of Ilio and Linda whenever that child comes. Damn it, it should be here. Listen, Chad, if you could help us out, what's the name of this damn Maester that wrote?
All right, so after they had the booze, and the High Septon started calling Aenys King Abomination. Looks like they started the poor fellows started trying to attack Aenys and even tried some assassination attempts. It was like one of the Kingsguard, Raymond Baratheon, saved Aenys once. And that's when he left to Dragonstone. He kind of, because the Red Keep wasn't built yet, so he didn't think the defenses were good enough, so he just left to Dragonstone.
Right.
And that's when Visenya was like, "You idiot! Why would you leave your stronghold looking weak like that?" And then he died of mysterious death not too long after that.
Well, no,
under the care of Visenya.
It said he died of loose bowels.
Yeah, well,
he said he kept on having. Yeah, it said he kept on having loose bowels. He got sick, then he got a little better, then he got sick again, and then Visenya was like, "I'll take care of my nephew," and then
she took care of him, all right. That's the mysterious death I'm talking about. This whole taking care part.
Oh man,
we didn't even talk about Maegor's exile though. And that's
I was just about to go back to that because
that was before the booze. That's when he put aside Cerise and married Alice Haraway.
Right.
And then Aenys said, "Yeah, you can either put aside Haraway or you can choose exile." And he's like, "Peace."
Oh yeah, and then Aenys was like, "Yo, hey, okay, you're choosing exile for 5 years. Can you give me back Blackfire?" And and Maegor was like, "Come and take it from my hands if you dare." So basically, he basically challenged his brother to a duel to the death at that point, and we already knew Aenys wasn't going to do shit, because Aenys is a punk.
I mean, what would have happened?
Blackfire is a girl. It's a female sword because he calls it because Maegor calls it a her. He's like, "You're welcome to try and take her from me."
I wonder if he would have been like Kingsguard sees him, what would have happened, Would Maegor got seized or would he been strong enough to take him out,
I mean, he would have been strong enough to take him out. I mean, he is very much. I think he's kind of like the Hound if the Hound had a Balerion sword.
Yeah.
Oh, imagine the Hound with a Valerian sword. That would be crazy.
That would be crazy.
I think, and that's not to get off subject, but I think he would have destroyed Brienne in that fight if he had his Valerian still
He would have
blade.
destroyed Brienne in the book fight. He destroyed Brienne even with Brienne having a Valerian sword and the Hound having his teeth.
Cruelty, Jerry. Cruelty.
Let's not bring up ridiculousness here.
Tell us how you really feel, Jerry.
So.
All right.
Okay. So I think now we have the return of he comes back on it. Well, we all know after he died of these mysterious vows and taken care of, Visenya skips out pretty quick. She comes back with. She misses the funeral, and I don't even think Aegon is told about the funeral. I think it's just the family he has on Dragonstone, like Queen Alyssa and his younger children, Viserys and Jaehaerys are there, and Alicent. And then right before Aegon even has a chance to do anything, she comes back and makes Maegor king. And one guy objects, and he immediately gets his head lopped off, right? This Grainmaster.
No, no, he does. You're right, he does.
Gawain or something? Gawain?
Grainmaster, yeah.
Yeah. So
it's almost similar. It reminds me of was it Sir Criston Cole?
Yeah, exactly. I was just thinking the same thing.
Yep.
So. And now his reign has begun. His reign of terror.
Yeah, which is crazy.
And that's when we get the 7-on-7 fight with Dick Bean.
You know, George mentions that Stannis is like King Richard. I would say Maegor is way more like Richard, because Stannis never fucking usurped anybody, and Maegor usurped his own nephew and basically, you know, had him as a hostage. You know, made him a squire, but yeah, Maegor is way more like King Richard than Stannis.
Interesting. Interesting to say the least. So you know, one of the crazy things about that whole thing with the trial of basically trial by combat is. At first, no one wants to step up for Maegor.
Do you think Dick? What do you think made Dick Bean step up? Like is it like a Braun move where he potentially sees a payoff in the end? Did someone get to him and be like, "Let's pay this guy off and get this pathetic piece of shit to say," and then maybe we can rally some others to come? Was it a calculated move by someone else, or was it Dick Bean just being an opportunist?
I think you're 100% opportunist.
Well, which one? Who? Is it Dick Bean or is it someone else playing Dick Bean? Dick Bean just being an opportunist?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if Dick Bean was being an opportunist by doing that. I mean, you know, look, like he said, he was like, I've been a king's man all my life, plan on dying as a king's man. You know, I don't know, it really seemed like he was really, that's what he really believed in, I guess. I mean, I could be wrong, though.
I mean, I think it was some conspiring with Brune that he got to Dick Bean. He's like, hey, you know, you step up and say this, and doing that, even if you die, we'll give your family some riches. So that's why I think Dick Bean was so ready to die. And then, you know, giving Brune that opportunity to shame other people into getting on Maegor's side. So I think they read the room and they knew that no one was going to join them.
I mean, but that was interesting though. You had the 7 knights of the seven who were there. You know, and one of them was or not. Oh no, were they all knights? Or were they? They were all definitely warrior sons.
Yeah, they were all warrior sons. It was even the top warrior son. I think Daemon the Devout.
Right, and then
I think he was the captain.
Who was the dude that was the Septon Knight?
Who was the Septon Knight? I don't know who the Septon Knight was.
I know, I can't remember all their names, but a lot of their names were from respected houses.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one of the things that kind of got me.
Death's Head Harry, Sir Aegon Ambrose, Sir Lyle Bracken, Sir Harry's Horp, Sir Dickon Flowers, and the Bastard of Beesbury, Sir William the Wanderer, and Sir Garibald of the Seven Stars, the Septon Knight. That's who it was.
That's why it pisses me off so much how they depicted the fucking warrior sons in the show. They should have been knights, not these fucking idiots with clubs and robes, man.
Yeah.
Oh man. So who did you have on Aegon's side? You had
Dick Bean, obviously.
Dick Bean, Ronald Arryn. You have
Sir Bram of Blackpool.
Right. Sir Rayford Rosby, Guy Lawston, and Lucifer Massey.
Which one was the fat one?
Sir Guy of Glutton.
I got. And when I was thinking about this on my second listen through, like he must have been some kind of warrior for Maegor to let him, be on his team, right? I mean,
I don't know. I think they were desperate for anyone, and they just figured Maegor could kill them all.
Yeah,
I think Maegor was that arrogant to where he's like, I can beat these 7 on my own. Just give me 7 guys ready to die.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't really leave him much choice because nobody else stepped up.
And that's like you said, like the mountain could probably take out 7 warrior sons yeah, you're right.
So, super interesting thing about this, obviously, is that you have oh man, what the hell is this guy's name?
I mean, Dick Bean didn't even make it past the beginning.
Right,
he dies like on the first swing.
Yeah, he steps up and he winds up getting killed like almost immediately, and it's like all the sources agree on that, but like none of the sources agree on almost anything else. But the one thing that kind of
source says that the guy was so fat that 40 half digested pies came out of his stomach with that slash open.
Now, one of the things that kind of really had me like, George, what are you doing here? Was when he was just like, many great deeds were done that day, and we have no idea what these great deeds were. It's just like, yeah, many great deeds were done that day. Can you name one? Yeah, you don't need to know about that. That's not important.
When you guys heard about the pies coming out of his stomach, didn't that kind of remind you guys of Waymond Manderley and the eels?
Yeah.
Oh, like eels coming out of his stomach. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, now I'm starting to think of aliens, like 40 of them coming out at one time.
Disgusting. Come on, man.
All right. So pretty much we have a kind of a little bit of a callback, but with a little bit of a twist here. He gets hit in the head, kind of like Baylor Breakspear, but he lives. Although he's knocked out to a coma for.
Right, and mind you, so it was 1-on-3 at the end. 1-on-3, and Maegor winds up killing everybody. He gets hit in the head, stumbles, falls, and it's like, all right, well, is he still alive or not? Visenya goes to him and takes off his helmet and sees that he's breathing. It's like, the king breathes, the king lives. I'm doing my best impression of the person who did the narrating. So after that, he's in a coma.
Yeah, he's in a coma for a while. What is it?
This would have been the perfect time for Aegon to seize the throne and take control. If you think about it, I mean, why wait till later?
They really, it's 27 days, but they really fucked up. This is how they fucked up, because they did a battle by the faith. They did a battle by, a trial and according to them, this is the gods will put the rightful ruler on, or the winner will be the truthful one. Well, since Maegor won, they can't really, go back and say, "Oh, we're going to take him out anyways." Their own faith has just proven that Maegor is the ruler, according to them.
It's kind of like when Tyrion won his trial by combat. Lysa can't attack him anyways because he's innocent.
Exactly.
Right.
They done fucked up. So I mean, they really they kind of hurt Aegon's claim right then, right there.
Do you guys agree that this would have been the perfect time for Aegon to take his throne back? I mean, because he felt he was the rightful king anyways, and he was the rightful king. But this would have been the perfect time. Maegor is in a coma, seize power.
Yeah.
But I think, but to switch it back, I think Maegor was like a modern day Kim Jong-il, where he's just so powerful, everybody fears him so much that maybe nobody would have supported Aegon. They're just so scared of him,
They didn't like Aegon either because he was married to his sister.
Yeah.
He was probably still gathering forces, so he probably wasn't ready to make a move. And even if he would have made a move, he probably wouldn't have lasted.
I bet you this is going to be another part. Like, Jerry, okay, for all the chat that's listening, everybody watches this video, Jerry has a hunch that this is going to be the next show that they do on HBO, The Sons of the Dragon. And this is...
Well, no, hold on. Let me clarify that. I believe this is the pitch that George R. Martin and, what is his name, Shitstain, the Keeper of Lore.
Oh, my God. Will you stop that? God damn it, man. You're the worst.
What is that loser's name?
Brian Cogman.
I can't think of it.
Cogman, yeah. Cogman. Him and Cogman are working on.
Well, I personally think that this is going to be the first one I said is where Maegor, claims Balerion the Black Dread. I think this will be another epic moment in the series when he's winning this trial by himself,
Could be. Finally found the damn book. So
basically, he has this moment of Paul and Dune, where he's in a spice dream, but instead he wakes up as even more of a sack of shit than he was before. Where Maegor is cruel. He might even be crueler now, because we've seen that these brain injuries, these brain things, don't make people nicer. Just look at the Mountain.
Yeah.
So. Yeah,
this is true.
Mm-hmm.
I bet you the first thing he thought when he woke up was, "Is somebody trying to betray me?" All nervous and shit and paranoid.
Well, no, that's the thing though, because when he wakes up, because remember, all right, so this is after he returns from exile when he claims the king. He has Alice Haraway, and then he has Taina of the Tower. So at first, it's the Septons, not the Septons, but the Maesters who are taking care of him. And then Taina the Tower comes and is like, nah, I got this. And the next day is when he wakes up.
Is she the one who could talk to spiders and stuff, or is that the next wife?
No, that was her.
Okay, yeah.
And then so he marries her. Someone actually has the nerve to say, "But your real wife is in Old Town." He fucking kills that person mighty fast. Then he pretty much it's like war going on.
Remember before he marries her, before he marries her, as soon as he wakes up, he goes to the battlements of the Red Keep, which I'm not sure if the Red Keep was already finished at this time. In fact, the Red Keep wasn't fully finished at this time. It was still being built or whatever, right? So he goes to the battlements. It's like, hey, yeah, these people they didn't truly fucked up now. He hops on Balerion and goes and burns down the sept where all the warriors' sons were.
Yep.
And then after that, it's kind of like, well, is he making his way to Old Town or not?
Oh, and he definitely starts making his way to Old Town and leaving.
Yeah, and
beating
before
some down.
right.
So he gets to Old Town, and I was kind of surprised to see that some people from Hightower were taking up arms against the dragon, considering their prophecy. Although we see that this ends pretty quickly with what's his name getting, what is it, the High Septon?
Yeah, they kill off the High Septon.
Yeah, they kill the High. How do y'all think this happened? It shocked the city apparently and dismayed his followers. So it says here, some say he took his own life. We don't know what happened. I'm thinking that these people knew the prophecy and they knew Old Town would burn, and they're like, "Fuck this guy, kill him before he gets us killed."
They probably strangled him to death.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's see. So let's see here.
Yeah, because some say Morgan Hightower was to do it, which would be, he would know the prophecy real well. Like, holy shit, things are gonna burn.
So yeah, it says, after this, his war against the Faith Militant had just begun, however. It would continue for the remainder of his reign. The king's first act upon resuming the Iron Throne was to command the poor fellows swarming towards the city to lay down their weapons under penalty of prescription and death. When his decree had no effect, his grace commanded all Leo lords to take to the fields and disperse the Faith's ragged hordes by force. In response, the High Septon of Old Town called upon true and pious children of the gods to take up arms and defend the faith. Oh man. And that was stupid of him. Let's see here. I think we had actually we may have passed that already. Listen, like this book is super, like, for it to be a novella, this is actually very dense with information, surprisingly.
Yeah.
Which is why, like, when Fire and Blood, I think that Fire and Blood needed to be split up into two books. Because even though they're going to be coffee table books like The World of Ice and Fire, the fact that they're going to have, like, this much information. Now think about it. This book, Sons of the Dragon, is supposed to be a piece of Fire and Blood.
A little piece at that.
Right, now, hold on. How? So, Fire and Blood should be around the size of this book, and hold on, make sure you guys can see how thick this book is here. Right, so Fire and Blood should be around the size of The World of Ice and Fire for part 1. I remember in The World of Ice and Fire, The World of Ice and Fire is not just the Targaryens. It also talks about a bunch of the other houses as well, and also the history of the world. Fire and Blood is strictly going to be about the Targaryens.
Do you guys think that the book that Tyrion gives Joffrey, The Lives of Six Kings, is any of this or no?
I don't know. Because I don't know. We have to see who that one was supposed to be written by. I don't know if that one's supposed to be written by Gildane.
Yeah.
Let's see here. So throughout this whole time, Maegor also was dealing with rebellions as well. There's the warrior sons. You got a couple other people who basically pop up and are trying to cause trouble. And
They're attacking his loyalists too, Maegor's loyalists, the warrior sons, because
right,
they were spread out, but some of them were attacking his people.
right, and oh man, wait, we got to talk about Maegor torturing his nephew.
Oh my
that
God.
that was eight.
Right?
No, that was who was that? That was Viserys. Yeah,
Viserys,
Yeah,
he does that too.
because he killed Aegon in battle.
And it's sad because he made Viserys his squire, so he was close to him. So you think that maybe they were getting along, and he did that anyways.
Right. And nah, man, he as soon as as soon as he as soon as his mother died, because when his mother died, when she was at Dragonstone, he was overseeing construction of the Red Keep, and his niece.
Well, we're going to talk about Aegon trying to come and stake his claim first. Didn't that happen first?
Yeah, Aegon tried to stake his claim.
Mm-hmm.
He battled against Maegor. Maegor took Balerion and killed Aegon and his dragon.
Oh, but first, remember Aegon before went to he went to the Lannisters, and he was staying at Cassidy Rock. Remember?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And yeah, they were like, "Look, cool, we're not gonna," because at first Maegor actually wanted him and his wife handed over, and the Lannisters were like, "Look, that wouldn't be a cool thing to do. We're not gonna take up arms against you, Maegor, but we're not gonna hand over the dude who's sitting here right now. Not cool. Not happening."
He basically gave Aegon sanctuary.
Yeah. So when he goes out though and decides he wants to fight against his uncle for the throne, that's when Lord Lannister at the time was like, "Yeah, look, dude, you could have stayed here probably for the rest of your life, and and waited for your uncle to die, and everything would have been cool. You would have been king. But right now, nah, bruh.
This is gonna be look.
I'm Simba, bitch. I'm gonna go get my stone back.
My prediction is they're gonna have at least 3 seasons max for this one book, because one season is gonna be about Aegon, calling the banners and doing all this, And I mark my words, they're gonna make us, non-book readers who don't know, they're gonna make people fall in love with Aegon, and they're not gonna know what happens, and they're gonna be shocked by the end. Watch.
Well, what's one crazy thing? Like, I know you guys must have noticed this. No Starks.
Well, but no, you mentioned, and I think I told Jerry about this. I think George did this on purpose, because if you notice, when they're mentioning the people that are supporting Aegon, it says Winterfell. It says Winterfell. It doesn't say no Lord Stark, but it says Winterfell. So there was a Stark, but I think George didn't mention that Lord Stark for a specific reason. And then another question I have is, it says the bastard of Baratheon, which is the Dustins, right?
Yeah, that's the Dustins.
Yeah, the Barrel Lands.
So what I'm thinking is, did the Lord Destin at the time, did he send his bastard, saying, "Oh, I could just deny it if, basically when Maegor conquers them, I could just deny it." You know what I mean?
I mean, that's possible.
Yeah, it is possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is definitely possible. Oh man. Yeah, so after the death of Visenya, though, um, his niece, that he had, no, not his niece, but was it one of his nephews? No, it was one of his nieces. She goes missing, and um he tortures his nephew Viserys for the whereabouts. He's like, yo, where is your mother? Where is your mother? And the Kingsguard knight that's there is like, yo, he may not know. He was like, all right, well, fine, and if he doesn't know, then, torture him till he's dead. So basically, he ordered the execution of the person who was also next in line to be king as well.
Well, no. What happened was Queen Alyssa left. So Aegon's mother left, and she took. I think she took Alysanne and Jaehaerys with her. I'm not.
They took their dragons too, right? I'm assuming so. Yeah.
So, because he still gets Rhaena there, and Rhaena becomes one of his wives.
And that was like basically like rape, like forced,
So, but yeah, I mean, this is also the first time I think we've ever seen in the story where a hostage, where the person who has like how do I say this? The one that gave up the hostage defies the people who have the hostage. Like, when Ned had Theon, Balon never went against him. And, anyone else like that, When they all had hostages, it kept everyone else in line. This is the first time we actually see him be like, they have a hostage? Fuck it. We're taking our chance anyways.
Yeah, because they felt that Visenya gone, they actually stand a chance.
Right, because, Visenya... I mean, look, Visenya kind of kept an iron grip on the family for the most part. It's like, yeah, I know that my son has an iron grip, and it was kind of like she was the backup to that, so...
It says they burned them, but what is it? They put the ashes next to everybody, basically, like, wherever in Dragonstone, they put their ashes. They like spread it around, or do they put it with the? What do they do with it again?
I don't know. They don't really say what they do with their ashes.
Yeah, I wonder what they do with them. Because they put all the ashes, basically, all these Targaryens at Dragonstone. And then later they're at fucking, I think, Baylor Sept.
Yeah, do we want to talk about do we want to talk about the rest of Maegor's wives?
Well, we do want to talk about when Queen Tiana, like when she found out, or no, they found out she was poisoning one of the wives, right?
Yeah, I think she was poisoned because whatchamacallit, they had the Hightower chick come back, right, and basically after
she was running her mouth, I think, right, and they killed it. They removed her tongue.
Hightower Queen?
Not the Hightower. Yeah, not the Hightower Queen. His first one.
No, the first one was the Hightower Queen.
Was that Cerise?
Yeah, Cerise Hightower.
Oh no! Sorry, someone was talking smack about how she died, and they got their tongue removed. That was it.
Yeah. Oh man. We really should have taken notes on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is way too dense, man. This is way too dense.
I just like the
wait a minute. I just want to know, why doesn't Tower of the Hand of Westeros.org already have the cliff notes on
Well,
this?
it's a really new book. I mean, is this like 2 months old now? Less than that?
No, more than 2 months,
Yeah,
man.
came out in November.
Really?
It came out in
Okay,
November?
okay.
Really?
No,
Yeah.
or October, maybe October.
Hmm.
All right. Well, that's still pretty new.
Mm-mm-mm.
But I wonder, like, the queen that could talk to the spiders and shit. Do you guys think that's just like, more fabrication, or do you think this woman has some kind of mystical magical powers?
I mean, it seemed like she had some kind of powers or whatever.
It seems like it, but those might be exact. If you notice, this has been mentioned before. I think it might have been by Aziz or someone. If you notice that anytime anyone comes from Essos, they always have women always have like this allure of mystery and mysticism that come with them, no
I
matter
just
what.
like how it said even the animals were talking about, nobody would dare defy Maegor,
Hmm. Mm-mm-mm.
That just I don't know, it's cool fantasy, right there. Even if it's fabricated, I like it.
Mm-mm-mm. Let's see here. So let's see.
Should we talk about how he married the 3 women at one time?
Yeah, well, first off, I want to talk about the death of his first 3 wives, though. So the first wife says that she died of a sudden illness. And you had a Kingsguard whose tongue was let's see here. No, it's
That's what I was talking about. Someone was running their mouth and they
no,
got
no, no.
their
All right,
tongue.
so yeah, it said it was rumored that she had something. She said something to offend Maegor, and he orders her own bush to remove her tongue. And she struggled so much that the knife accidentally slashed her throat.
And then the Maester mentions, just like Jerry was saying, that could have been another, like hearsay to make Maegor look even badder than he was.
Yeah.
Yeah, which it is what it is. He was an asshole,
I
so.
We didn't mention, but I want to mention, I just think it's so cool, but sad at the same time when Aegon fights Maegor on Dragonback in Baelor, and it mentions how Baelor bites off Sunfire's wing, man, and that's another thing I think will be epic on the screen.
Yeah, that definitely will look crazy. I mean, that's if they're going to throw the money at it.
Yeah,
I doubt that'll ever happen. I doubt we'll ever see that. But we're getting off topic.
All right, so the next wife, Alice Haraway, she died in childbirth. And later on is when we find out that Taina confessed to poisoning her. So
she could have been lying because she said she confessed right away. She was probably scared of torture.
I mean, it could be. Hold on. Let's see here. Hold on. Okay, so. Alright, so she got pregnant in 44 AC. And. Let's see. She gave birth to a stillborn eyeless monstrosity. Let's see here. And Maegor ordered execution of those in charge of the queen's care, only sparing Alice's sisters. And then after that, Taina the Tower claimed that basically that Alice Haraway had been cheating on him, aided by her father, who was the Hand of the King, Lucas Haraway. And in fact, one of the guys still had the money that he had been paid. Which is kind of crazy though, So, and then after this, Maegor decides to basically kill his wife and chopped up her body into 7 pieces.
Mm-hmm.
And then take out all the Harways, right?
Yeah, and he killed each and every single person. And it was like even when he showed up to the castle, and the one nephew opened up the door, thinking, like, hey, as long as I don't defy the king, I should be good. He was like, no dice. You're a Haraway. You got to die too.
That's some serious anger issues.
Before the poisoning, yeah, that's how Haraway gets it. Before the poisoning, he has the 3 wives. So, he's trying to figure out who would be his new wife, and they say, what is it? Clarice Dane, Alton Butterwall, and Rhaena. And the reason he does, he has reasons for all of them. Let's see, he does Dane in hopes for getting her lands from Dorne. Butterwell because she has a bunch of kids already, so they know she's fertile. And Rhaena for he wanted to strengthen his claim over I guess it's Jaehaerys that just left. Make sure his reign is strong. He wants to make his reign or his claim to his reign over Jaehaerys.
Wait, what names are you got? Because he didn't Butterwell?
That's what they offer him.
That's what he's offered, but he didn't remember. It was like, one of them he said was ugly, the other one he said was old.
But he uses those reasons to marry all the other ones, right? Like he's like, okay, I'm gonna marry someone with the sun, someone with lands, and then someone with and then he marries what's her name, Rhaena.
Okay. So all right.
And then it was said that basically he possibly could have consummated the marriages all with them at the same time, or all one at a time.
He pretty much does it and he also does it to increase his odds. So he's like, if I'm screwing 3 girls, I have 3 times the odds of having a kid.
Right. And so so the women he actually does marry are
Jane
Eleanor, Jane Westerling, Eleanor Costayne, and and Rhaena Targaryen. Who Rhaena was the one that his mother originally proposed him marrying in the first place. So he wound up still getting her anyway, though this time it was definitely against her will.
He's been eyeing that for a while.
Mm-mm. So,
and she imagines, remember, before she goes, she's out like and about, and she says, no matter if I change my hair, no matter if I dress like a septum, I can't hide because I have a dragon. And she just gives in and goes.
So, all right, let's talk about the circumstances behind Eleanor Costayne. So, Eleanor Costayne was actually already married and had 3 kids already. And
yes, she was, instead of Butterwall, he picked Costayne.
Right. And pretty much it was like, all right, well, you know what? I need her husband to be out of the way. So he basically, at first, Maegor sends him into battle, and when he doesn't wind up dying in battle, he charges him with some type of conspiracy and has him executed. I'm like, oh my god. Oh, talk about just grimy. Like, yeah, I sent your husband into battle hoping that he would die, but then he made it back. So, yeah, and then, like, as she's still supposedly in mourning, it was like, all right, yeah, send her to the Red Keep. She's gonna be one of the brides. Let's see
he
here.
pretty much said, like, thanks for the idea, Butterwall, but I think this girl would be better if I could just get rid of her husband.
He tried to pull a David, how David sent besiegers to the front lines, and Uriah the Hittite died, but All right, but he didn't die.
Right. Oh man. Let's see. Jane Westerling. She was a widow.
Yeah.
And she had given her son given her husband a son, but he had died. I guess in
Oh, he was one of the
battle.
lords or was one of the lords that supported Aegon, right?
Alan Tarbeck. I don't know if he supported Aegon or not.
What I know, one of the girls he married was married to one of the lords that supported Aegon. I believe so.
All right,
One of
hold
them,
on.
I can't.
Mm,
And while we're on that subject, the phrase supported Aegon, and I wonder if that's why the phrase named a lot of their kids after dragons, since they fought with the Targaryen, well, fought with Aegon,
mm-mm.
I think it's just because they have so many goddamn kids, they can run out of names.
Yeah, I'm up here looking on the wiki, and it doesn't say. It just says that he was married to Jane Westerling, and he died to God's eye.
Okay,
Mhm.
yeah.
So then Westerling gets pregnant, though, and that's when we find out that what's her name was being poisoned by.
Right. So yeah, so she gets pregnant, and she winds up dying like shortly after she gives birth to to a stillborn eyeless child.
Monstrous looking
Yeah.
beast.
And let's see, Eleanor, also same thing, like not too long after. And by this time, Maegor has already killed Taina of the Tower.
Mm-hmm.
And the only wife that didn't get pregnant out of the new batch was Rhaena. And it's funny though because people were kind of wondering like how come she never tried killing Maegor.
They said that she possibly did, right? Or tried to. Like there were stories that she tried to stab him in his sleep, or
No, I think it was more like, oh well, she should have tried to stab him in his sleep.
Well, those stories, and didn't it mention that those stories didn't come out till years after his death?
I believe so. I'm not 100% certain.
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Man, oh man. Shit. All right, so we done went through the wives. Now let's talk about
This is where things start to really unravel for him.
right, because after him not having the children or whatever, you do have a long stretch, well not a long stretch, short stretch where basically they start to have more open rebellions against him.
People start to get bold.
Do they? When does that happen?
Hold on.
I don't think so. I think at that point, it's near the end, and that's when. What happens next?
People start supporting Jaehaerys, right?
Yeah, people start supporting Jaehaerys. What was the?
Well, yeah. If you're supporting Jaehaerys, you're in open rebellion.
But they don't make any move yet. They're just like
When
kind
is the point? When is the point that Rhaena finds out and she escapes?
Well, Rhaenys hasn't escaped yet.
No, but I mean, what I can't remember. What is the spark that makes her leave? And like somehow they get word to her, right? Or she finds out that Jaehaerys has all his people.
Well, at first, I think it's the Baratheon guy.
Yeah.
Rogar Baratheon. That's when he said that he's like, all right, enough's enough. Jaehaerys is a true king. Let's get this thing rolling. So they start gathering support. I think they get it from the Tullys.
Yeah. They get it from a lot of great houses because they mentioned that Maegor has no more great houses backing him.
Yeah. When did Rhaena get out? I don't even know. Did she ever get out?
Yeah, remember she escapes. That's what I was trying to tell you. She escapes and takes Blackfire from Maegor while he's sleeping.
Yeah, I'm looking for that right now. Because at this point, Jaehaerys is actually in Pentos. Let's see here. I don't know.
And what was her dragon's name? Rhaena's dragon? Does it mention it?
Dreamfire.
Dreamfire, that's right. Yeah. Was it Jaehaerys' dragon, or whose dragon had 2 eggs, 2 clutches of eggs? One of the I can't remember.
You're not the only one. I don't remember that shit right now. My damn self, and I'm at the book in my damn hand. I'm trying to figure out like where the hell do I find that information? Oh man. Yeah.
I don't have the book. Is there any illustration in it?
Oh, what happened? This is what happened. As soon as the Baratheon did, Rhaena just jumped on the dragon and flew away.
As soon as Baratheon what?
Yeah, as soon as Baratheon declared Jaehaerys was the rightful heir, she just jumped on a dragon, took her daughter, and ran away. Just left. She took Blackfire, but not the scabbard.
Yeah, she took it out of the scabbard.
Mm-hmm.
Why Maegor is sleeping? He's probably dreaming about a rebellion.
Mm-hmm.
But this is all.
Oh yeah, and then he went to Old, and then he sent a message to Old Town to say that Rhaella needs to be killed for Rhaena leaving, and then that's when Hightower's like, "No, we're siding with Jaehaerys now." And it was really at that point where we get to the final end of things.
Oh, can we talk about it? I can't wait.
Yeah, you take it away, LT. Tell us what happens, and tell us. First, tell us what happens, and then tell us what you think.
Well, the War Council, when they're basically trying to tell Maegor, they're basically trying to tell him that it's done. You got no chance. You're outnumbered. You only have 4,000. I want to say, Maegor only has 4,000 men to Jaehaerys' way more. I can't remember how many he had, but I know he's
also say that he has more dragons too.
Yeah, more dragons, and then the guy, I can't remember. Oh, it was the king. Was it the Hand or the King's Guardman that advised him to take the Black, and he just chopped his head off?
Who was it that he did? They tell him that they only command 4,000, and that only 10% of them are knights.
Yeah. And then
Lord Hayford was the one who said, "Yeah, why don't you take the Black?" Like, oh.
He chopped his head off and just puts it on the table while they're in their council.
Mm-hmm.
And then, once the council ends, they said that he was in there, like they're in there all night talking about strategy or whatever. And then suddenly,
and then the next morning he's dead in the chair.
Yeah, the next morning, Maegor is on the Iron Throne, and one of the blades is through his throat, 2 are through his hand, and this is why I think he was murdered. Because why would he put? I mean, if he's gonna murder himself, when he just slashed his wrists, why would he put his own throat through the sword?
Yeah, I agree.
I think he was murdered, and I think possibly it was the King's Guardman. It had to be, because they had some at the door, then they had some inside. So I believe the ones inside probably put him out of his misery or something, or like, you know what, you're done, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Probably like another mad king, he was like mad, and they knew he had to go. It was like, it's finally time, and it was just karma because all the evil he did, and usurping his nephew, and.
Do you think it was like a Caesar thing where they just all, or maybe all the lords were like, "Fuck this, stab."
Yeah. Yep.
Shout out to JD. He said he's got a bounce, man. JD, we'll talk to you later.
Later, JD.
Hi, JD.
Well, what do you think, Don Willie? What do you think happened in that room?
I mean, yeah, obviously somebody killed him, because the Iron Throne has not shown to been magical in any regard.
I know it just cuts you because it says Ares would get cut all the time, but he never got killed by it.
Right, and think about it, right? If the Iron Throne were going to kill unworthy kings, yeah, Ares II would have died. Aegon IV would have definitely died. It wouldn't have just been Maegor that got killed.
Well, Ares did get cut a lot on the Iron Throne.
He got cut a lot, but he didn't suffer this brutal kind of death.
The only thing that makes me wonder about it is why don't you think, okay, so they're pissed off. They're like, all right, we're done with you. We're gonna kill you. You would have think a guy like Maegor would have taken out a few of them, at least one, at least someone, probably two. He would have taken out.
I mean, listen, they could have literally beat him in the head. Oh yes, my king, we have something we need to bang right in the back of the head.
Yeah,
it's like, you know what? Yeah,
like hit him with a mace over the head or something like that.
Yeah, drag his ass right up those stairs. Just like, hey, you know what? Yeah, we have any place where we can impale him? Yeah, just impale him.
But they don't have any mention of brain trauma here, but I guess maybe they just left it out. Possible.
And then, I don't know what weapon Maegor had on him because obviously he didn't have Blackfire, so he probably... But, if you look at Google Maegor the Cruel, and you guys notice there's pictures of him with a mace and not Blackfire? Isn't that weird?
Maybe he's a master of all arms.
Yeah.
Although, really, A Song of Ice and Fire has shown that you don't really need to be a master of all arms because in Song of Ice and Fire, swords are effective against plate mail, which is not really the case in real life.
One thing I want to mention, when they talked about Jaehaerys, they talked about how he was a skilled archer. And do you think that maybe the archer genes started with him and that's how Bloodraven became a great archer, maybe through the genes of Jaehaerys?
No, I think they were just always good warriors. So sometimes different things went to different skills went to different ones. So, I mean, you probably, if you go back, if we ever got, history of Targaryens years before, you'll probably find some archers there too.
Yeah. I mean, the only archers I could think of mentioning is Bloodraven and him, but you're right. Oh, and another thing I want to mention. Remember they mentioned that battle? They mentioned Bitterbridge. That's how Bitterbridge got its name, right?
That is how Bitterbridge got its name. Correct.
Yeah. That's pretty cool because then we get the famous Stannis and Renly at Bitterbridge.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's one other thing that we do need to talk about, and I actually wanted to save this for last. And that was the Red Keep. We need to talk about the construction of the Red Keep, which
it was done by this point.
Well, no, but I wanted to save it for the last thing. So the construction began by Aegon. It was began under the reign of Aegon, but after Aegon died, and then I guess after Aenys died as well. What's his name? Maegor. Maegor is like, hey, you know what? Yeah, scrap what we were doing before. We are doing something brand new. He fires the original workmen, has a bunch of the castle dismantled, and then has it rebuilt again with new workers, and has a bunch of tunnels and things placed inside of there, and then has those workmen killed afterward.
Always reminds me of the scene in The Mummy. If anyone watches the original Universal Mummy, you see them build the tomb, and then they put the pharaoh in there, the dead pharaoh in there, and then when they come out, you see them throw spears and they all get killed. Like so, no one knows where it is.
It also reminds me of the Watchmen as well, though, because if you remember, Adrian Veidt, Ozymandias, he has those engineers and all those scientists build new Karnak, and then after that he poisons their wine, and then it has them all disintegrated inside of his matter transfer or the teleporter or whatever.
This might be a dumb question, but is Maegor's Holdfast and Red Keep the same thing, or are they two different things?
Maegor's Holdfast is a section of the Red Keep.
Okay. Now, because isn't Maegor's Holdfast where the moat is, and then because you can't get through your castle within a castle? Okay,
right,
that's right.
Yeah, and it's funny because later on Maegor tries to have the dragon pit built, and nobody wants to build the dragon pit because they're like, oh no, we heard about what happened with the damn castle. We are not building anything for you.
Yeah, it's kind of fucked up. It's very fucked up. You think about it. It's like, you think those guys would have been any threat to Maegor? But I don't want nobody knowing my secrets.
I don't know, but
you never know. Loose lips sink ships.
Well, how the hell did and this is a time for another discussion, but just a food of thought. How the hell did the spider find out all the secrets of it if Maegor had never told anybody?
I think he just had the kids just wander, and then just map it himself after that.
That sounds logical.
All right, now hold on, and we need to talk about Maegor's reign, the exact time of the day. Which was...
Wasn't it like 6 months, 6 years, 6 months, 6 days, something like that?
It was something like that. And I was sitting up there. That was one of the things that kind of had me like, really, George? We're doing 666 in here? Okay, here it goes. The reign of King Maegor, the first Targaryen, known to history and legend as Maegor the Cruel, lasted 6 years and 66 days. Like, really? Okay.
And they honored him. If they mentioned they did the same thing with everybody else, they put his ashes in Dragonstone. Everybody else, they still honored him, even after he was evil and cruel and a usurper. They still honored him and put his ashes on Dragonstone.
But another kind of interesting tidbit about the very end of the story when Jaehaerys takes over as the king. It talks about how he had super long reign and all that, but at the end of it, Gildain puts, that's a story for another time to be told by another maester.
Yes.
I'm like, but if this is...
it reminds me of Conan. What? But that's a story for another time.
Did they mention what dragon Jaehaerys claimed? I can't remember.
Jaehaerys? I thought he had his own dragon.
Yeah, I think he had his own.
So dragon. Who ends up claiming Balerion after Maegor? Because somebody else.
Viserys too.
Okay, that's right. That's right.
The one that had his death sparked the Princess and the Queen stuff.
Okay. Yeah, it's almost like, in a way, Don Willi, what you said, the guy says that about, that's another time and another maester. It's almost like bittersweet, because it's like, it's the end of the story, but you want to know so much more. And you're like, man, I want to know, I want to know about Jaehaerys' reign, and what happened.
But that's just kind of weird, though, because it's like, if this is supposed to be a section of Fire and Blood, and Fire and Blood is supposed to all be written by Gildain, then why is this a story for another time by another maester?
Maybe because, like Jerry said, maybe Jaehaerys' reign isn't as violent and cruel or much rebellion, so there's only a little. Maybe it's just a different maester at the time. I don't know.
I'm sorry. You don't get a number by your name unless you're not Mark King. So that would have made Viserys 1. So.
Oh.
Even though there was a Viserys before him, as we all just read about earlier.
Yeah, you only get.
because he wasn't king, right?
Yeah,
Right.
he wasn't king. He wasn't Mark. He was named Viserys 1.
So
So
what? Okay, so that's like um, Viserys, Daenerys' brother was the beggar king, but he wasn't technically king. But what was he?
He would have been 3 if he would have been king.
right.
Yeah.
Man. So all right. So real quick, we need to. We're gonna go around the horn and we're gonna talk theories. So we're gonna go back to the top. The first one we talked about was Aenys actually Aegon's son? Because I'm gonna say personally, I don't dispute that there was any. I don't dispute that Maegor was Aegon's son. I think he really was Aegon's son. I think that Visenya took some sort of potions or something, or worked some sort of spells in order for him to be born. But yeah, agree or disagree on that one. But Jerry, your thoughts? Was Aenys actually Aegon's son?
No, I don't think either were Aegon's sons. I think Aegon was Baron.
Okay. Uh, LT.
Such a tough question. I mean, on one part of me says agrees with Jerry, but one part of me says that it was his kids. But then the other part says that even if they weren't his blood, he did raise them and he was their father. So yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm undetermined. I don't know. I can't decide.
We're talking legitimate sons, so I mean, even if you raise them, you can raise an illegitimate son.
All right, I'm gonna go with they are legitimate.
Hmm. Um. I don't know. I mean, that's one of those things where, like, man, I have a tough time believing that he just did not have any kids. Now, as far as yeah, and even as far as Maegor is concerned, obviously his first wife was barren. Like, but the rest of his kids, do you believe that the rest of his children, that his wife, Tana of the Tower, actually poisoned all the rest of the wives, or do you think that it was just that Maegor was cursed?
I'll tell you what it was. It was karma because he's a fucking asshole and evil, and you know
Yeah,
it's
but
just what he
karma
gets.
doesn't really exist in the Song of Ice and Fire.
I agree. I think it does. I think some if it's not karma, it's something else. It's some kind of something similar.
Hmm.
I disagree. There's too many guys who get off easy in this game, in this stuff.
Yeah, but there's also people that get what they deserve, and Maegor got what
Well,
he
yeah,
deserved.
but you need 100%. To say that this rule exists, you need it to happen all the time. When you have exceptions, it destroys your rule. So I'm gonna say he, because he was. I mean, okay, even if Tiana was poisoning all the other ones, why wasn't Tiana getting pregnant?
Right.
Did he just happen to get two barren wives, and then the other 4 were poisoned?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's some serious odds there for that to happen. I'm gonna go with just him Baron. I think it's a simpler explanation.
All right. I mean, we kind of already touched on the whole thing as to whether or not we think that he was murdered. That being Maegor. Um, man, I'm trying to think.
Let's
Are
do our
there any other theories surrounding this whole particular sector of the Targaryen family?
not really like I guess I was reaching with my thing saying that that maybe the genes passed from Jaehaerys to Bloodraven as far as being a great archer. And what was the other one, Jerry? I said, and you said nah. I was reaching. There was another one. I can't remember.
I forget.
But want
Um,
to do our final thoughts and ratings?
Well, there was one other thing I was going to ask you guys too about, and that is, does this book kind of set up definitively that A Song of Ice and Fire is really about the Targaryen family, as opposed to
No,
it being more about the Starks?
no, because the reason why I wouldn't say that is because George's first thought of this story was that chapter with Bran and the prologue. So I want to say that he created the Targaryens after them, but then I don't know. I can't say.
I disagree, kind of, but I agree with that. That's what it started out with, but this is kind of like how George Lucas originally, it was all about Luke, the Star Wars saga. Then when he came up with the idea of Darth Vader being Luke's father, he's like, I'm going to make everything about Vader. I think eventually at some point it started about being about the Starks, but then he's like, I really like these Targaryen ideas I have. I'm going to make it about them.
Yep, and I mean, this is, in a way, it might be Jon's story, and it's both. It's both. It's Stark and Targaryen, because I mean, the main character. I mean, people debate on main character, but I do think Jon is the main character of this story. Not the past now.
But he is Targaryen, so I mean.
Yeah, but he's half and half. Yeah, you're right.
Well, no, he's really Targaryen, because I mean, no one says that. I mean, yeah, he is Tully, but no one's like, man, that Tully kid robbed Stark. That Tully robs. No one says that Tully robbed Stark. They say that Stark robbed Stark.
Yeah, but the difference between is where the loyalties lie. And my thing is, I don't think that
he's loyal to the Tullys.
No. What I'm saying is, when Jon finds out his lineage, I don't think he's gonna. It's not where he came from. He didn't come from the Targaryens. He came from the North. He's of the North. He's not. I don't think he's ever gonna be a Targaryen.
I mean, I'm talking about his birthright. I'm not.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
I'm not talking about how he feels when he wakes up in the morning. I'm just talking about.
I got you.
Yeah, what he is.
All right, so yeah. Let's give our final ratings on this one. Let's say one as just a novella in and of itself, and two, how we feel about it in the terms of the rest of the story. LT, you're up first on it.
So, are we going one out of 10? Or are we going 1 out of 5? Or
we'll do 1 out of 10.
All right, I'll tell you guys this. I'm definitely not the biggest Targaryen fan. I mean, I do like them, but I'm more like the North than the Starks. But when I first listened, because I just listened to this on audiobook, I'm very impressed with this story. I've listened to it 3 times now. I definitely want to listen to it again, and just so much information. And you see how unprepared we were. We didn't make our notes. So if we had notes, we probably would have done more justice to this video. But no, I give it a solid 8. I think this story was way above par, and I put it right up there with a lot of George's great short stories. I give it an
8. Okay. Jerry?
I think this was the weakest of George's writing, but it's still a 9. So it's that good. Like, or maybe 9. I'll give it 9.5 because I gave everything else a 10. So, completely enjoyed it. I always love about Targaryen history is actually probably my favorite part of Song of Ice and Fire. Like, my favorite characters are Dunk and Egg. So, yeah, always could do more. Always can learn more about this, and especially since this is like a real microcosm of what we've seen in the series. So, minus the White Walker stuff.
So you said you would give this a 5?
No, you said 9.5.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I heard wrong. I thought you said a 5. I'm like, damn, bro. Oh man, a 9. Wow. All right, you even went higher than LT on that one. All right. Look, as a short story, I thought it was good, even though it may have been a little densely a little densely packaged in this particular form. It was a massive information dump, which we kind of needed a little bit. But there were a couple of things that irked me when it came to details, where it's just like, oh, this thing happened, but it's not really fleshed out. Especially the whole thing about many great deeds were done that day during the damn trial of seven. I'm just like, why didn't we get what those great deeds were?
We gotta remember this is also a side story, so you're actually gonna get detailed about the details.
I mean, no, I get it, but I mean, like maybe that line should have been edited out there.
Maybe.
I
didn't just want to give you an idea of what was going on.
I mean, I still think it was very intriguing, and for this one, yeah, I'm gonna go with an 8 for this one. I want to see how it fits into the rest of the Fire and Blood book itself, but then also, like, is there any effect on the current story? I mean, because again, we see a lot of parallels, especially with the names and some of the characteristics from Aenys and Maegor, but does it have an actual effect on the story? Is the thing that I'm wondering.
Willie, if Aenys wasn't such a bitch, you'd probably give it a higher grading, right?
You wouldn't have a story then.
I know. Just being funny.
Who knows? I mean, yeah, because Aenys was not really likable.
I liked him. I mean, I understand your thing about him being a bitch, but I like people like that like, astrology and music and culture. And, there was actually a king, Jerry, remember Braveheart, Langshanks or whatever, his son Edward was actually like that. He liked astrology, like me, the real Edward, not the Braveheart story. He actually hanged out with stonemasons, and I thought that was really interesting. He wasn't really like his father, who was a warrior, but I kind of like that. I mean, it's different. But I understand he was a bitch.
Listen, anytime you die of freaking diarrhea, man, come on.
I mean,
you can't control how you die.
So sure that's how he did. Anyone who's seen Coco, he might have choked on the chorizo.
Oh man! All right, so real quick, we actually have a question, and this is the last joint we're doing for 2017. But IC Spots has a question that says, off-topic question for later. Any possibilities you will review other new movies or TV shows in 2018, like Season 4 of Black Mirror or Westworld?
I'll tell you no to Black Mirror because I've only seen a few episodes of it, but that show sucks.
Maybe we could convince Jerry to watch it. I don't know what's going on. Maybe we got to get a hold of Tink and when James watches it, but we did want to do a Star Wars review.
Yeah, we're waiting on another person to watch The Last Jedi, Disney space movie, The Last Jedi.
Well, no, I think we need the Return of the Last Jedi Empire.
Disney space movie. We're always up to suggestions. Like if you guys feel like there's something you think's really good, but remember, you got to impress Mr. Steamboat there because he's very picky. So suggest us something good and we'll check it out. And if we like it, we'll review it.
Yeah, basically, if it includes superheroes or spaceships, he's not going to want to review it.
But Don Willi definitely is.
Yeah, because we know I only like superheroes and spaceships. So.
Hey, let's just look at the channel. Besides Game of Thrones, how many videos on there involve non-superheroes or non-space movies or space?
What? My channel is all Game of Thrones now, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, how about entertainment?
Entertainment. What? The movie the one video I made was about how the hell did Into the Badlands get a second season?
Yeah, because you go around acting like a superhero.
What?
I got
whatever. See, here, look, Hit with that bullshit. Oh man.
I got an idea real quick before we leave chat. Just put in the chat real quick what you guys rated this book.
Yeah.
I want to know what the
So
chat.
Sammy Sam is asking if The Last Jedi is worth watching. Not if you actually enjoy thinking. You know, if you want to just turn off your brain and thinking is not what you do well, then don't watch watch The Last Jedi if thinking is not something that you like doing.
Look at the
Yeah.
trailer, and when you see Luke say, "This is not going to go the way you think it is," that's exactly what this movie is.
But not in a good way.
Yeah. Let's see here. Winter Design says, if I may, I'd like to suggest Gamora. It'll blow your minds. Not sure exactly what Gamora is, but
Is
Like
that
Sodom
anime?
Gomorrah?
I don't know. Hold on. Let's look up Gamora.
I've heard The Last Kingdom is really good.
Yeah, I heard that too.
Let's see here. An Italian TV series. See, here's the thing though. Is it available here in the States? Because it may not be available in the States. Because it says it's on Sky Italia. So, yeah, Winter Design, I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure with about that. I'll look it up and see if they have it on Netflix or something like that. But I've never even heard of it before today. Man, oh man. So, yeah, look, guys, we will see you in 2018 for another one of these. We'll be back with the regular chapters. Hopefully, we'll be able to get the rest of the crew with us. And next time, we definitely will be taking notes. And hopefully, won't have these damn issues with Skype like today, man. That was some bullshit and a half. But
It says a TV series about criminals in the pole. Well, I mean, might as well. We already watched a TV. We already reviewed a TV series about criminals in Westeros, so might as well.
AKA Brienne the Criminal.
Oh man. All right, so yeah, you guys want to sign off real quick? You know, tell people anything that you might be up to for the year 2018.
I got nothing planned. Oh, go ahead, Jerry. My bad.
Oh, go for it, LT.
I was gonna say I got nothing planned, but maybe I'll start streaming again on video games, and you can see me kill Jerry as Jason, and you guys would probably love to see that.
Or actually, you might even see me kill LT when LT is Jason.
Yeah,
I've done that before.
Or you might see us kill Jason together.
Yeah.
All right,
We've
so
been doing that a lot.
That'll be cool. That'll be cool. So
one thing, if you really want to know, if you've seen Star Wars, I was on a podcast not too long ago. It just came out. Go to johnnegroni.com and look at part-time characters. I guess then we talk about The Last Jedi. So if you want to hear what I think about it.
okay. Cool. And me, every Thursday or Friday, depending on how the work schedule goes, Ice and Fire Opinions. I'm not sure what's the first one I'm going to be doing for the new year. I just finished doing Brendan Blackfish Tully yesterday. Tomorrow I might be doing a year-end wrap-up on Entertainment, so make sure follow me at Willi on Twitter. If you're not already following me. Oh, and also for those of you who are planning on going to Ice and Fire Con in April, look, you got a couple of days to get your tickets before the price jumps up by about $15. Currently it's $75, and if you use the promo code HYPE in the checkout, you will get $5 off of your ticket. But after December 31st, on January 1st, it goes up to $90. So get it now if you want to go, and check me out there, and you might see a few other people from YouTube that you know. I don't know. Jerry, you going?
I haven't decided yet.
God damn it, Jerry. LT, you going?
It's gonna be tight. It's gonna be tight, but I'm hoping I can. But I don't know yet. As of now, I don't know yet, but I'm hoping to.
Right.
But what it is basically a summer camp with a lot of hardcore book readers, so it'll be fun.
Yeah. So yeah, hopefully we will see you guys in New Year 2018. Hopefully everybody is happy, healthy, prosperous, all that good stuff. And by the old gods and the new, and whatever faith you may pray to, hopefully we will be here next month and next year to do this all over again, and hopefully much better with no damn technical difficulty, right? So anyway, look, you guys already know the deal, and thank you to everybody who watched us live today, even through all the technical BS that we went through. Thank you to those who will watch us later on. Hopefully they won't thumbs down the shit out the video for the technical problems. But yeah, other than that, you guys already know the deal. Rate, comment, subscribe, share, tell your friends to come back for more. That has been our time here as the Hypes Watch, and for the end of 2017, this is Don Willi saying Jaehaerys. See you guys next year.
Adios,
Have a good one.